You know how every school has that one creepy rumor? Well, I never believed any of them. Not until last summer.
Our school was supposed to reopen after the break, but the renovations weren't finished yet. The classrooms were a mess. Broken ceilings, wires hanging out, dust everywhere.
So they moved us to a temporary location for 3 months? An old building. Actually, more like an old house. Locals called it Maple Manor. From the outside, it looked like something out of a Victorian horror film. Peeling paint, cracked windows, ivy choking the walls. But inside, that's where things got strange. The first day, I noticed the layout made no sense. You'd take a turn and somehow end up back where you started. The hallways felt wrong, like they were longer than they should be. And the rooms, some of them smelled like they hadn't been opened in decades. The teachers told us not to go upstairs, said it was unsafe. But sometimes, during class, we'd hear footsteps above us, slow, heavy, pacing back and forth. One afternoon, while walking alone to the bathroom, I heard it, a whisper. At first, I thought it was one of my friends messing with me, but it was coming from inside the wall. I asked around. Nobody admitted to hearing it, except for the old janitor. When I told him about the voices, he froze. Then he said, "They're just memories. Don't listen too long." And he walked away. That night, it stuck with me. Memories? What memories? A week later, I was paired with my friend Aisha for a history project. We decided to search the attic for old school records. We found dusty boxes of newspapers from the 1920s. One headline made my stomach drop. #tragedy. At Maple Manor School, fire claims 7 young lives. It explained that the house used to be a boarding school. One night, a fire broke out in the central staircase. They never recovered the bodies. The building was shut down and never torn down. From that day on, things got worse. Lights flickered during lessons, doors closed on their own, and I started seeing her. A girl, maybe 13 years old in an old-fashioned school uniform. Sometimes I'd see her standing at the end of the hallway, sometimes just outside the window, and once, in the reflection of my phone camera, standing right behind me. The last week before we moved back to our real school, I stayed late to take photos for the yearbook. The sun had just set when the lights went out. Emergency red lights flickered on, bathing everything in a blood-colored glow. My camera went crazy, click, 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 snapping on its own. Then, the screen lit up with a photo I hadn't taken. It was the girl. Standing so close behind me, I could see every detail of her pale face, and her hand was reaching toward my shoulder. I bolted for the stairs, but the staircase I always used was gone. In its place was a black void, like the air had been ripped away, and from inside it came the sound of children laughing, but twisted, wrong. The laughter got louder, and a shape began to pull itself out of the darkness. Not a person, just a shadow made of dozens of hands. It whispered, "Stay with us." I didn't think. I ran. I slammed into a side door and burst into the courtyard. When I looked back, the door was shut. The windows were dark. We moved back to our real school the next week. I've tried to forget about Maple Manor, but there's one problem. That photo of the girl? I can't delete it. And sometimes, when I look at it too long, I hear her whisper my name.